Now, as a judge is set to decide on Wednesday whether Britney Spears can choose her own attorney, when will the pop star's fight for freedom ever end? Will it end?
I know. Founder of BreatheHeavy.com and the Free Britney campaign, Jordan Miller, is live from Las Vegas to tell us more. Good morning or good evening to you, Jordan. Thanks for staying up late for us tonight.
Of course. I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much.
Jordan, can you tell us when your fascination, I suppose, with Britney really began? When did you become a real fan of hers?
I became a fan when I was a kid. So I was probably 9 years old when she first debuted. And it's kind of hard to pinpoint why I gravitated towards Britney. I think anyone who's a fan of any artist, it's hard to kind of explain why you gravitate towards them. You just kind of do. Of course, I didn't anticipate my life unfolding this way regarding Breathe Heavy and everything unfolding with the Free Britney movement. And, it's been quite a journey thus far.
It certainly has, Jordan. I mean, with the BreatheHeavy.com and the Free Britney campaign, it's been so huge across the world. But when did you first get an inkling, or how did you know that there was something wrong? Well, we all saw the pictures and we knew that there was something wrong with Britney. But how did you get the inkling that there was what's going on now, that we know is going on now? When did you start thinking that that might be the case?
Great question. To give the viewers watching a little backstory, Breathe Heavy opened in 2004. And that was when she was doing a tour. And so I opened Breathe Heavy. She was amidst this tour, but only a few days later, she injured her knee, and then she quit the tour. Then she married Kevin Federline, then she had kids, and then she had this tumultuous year in 2007. And then a year later was placed into this conservatorship. So I'd been documenting her life really for a number of years before the conservatorship ever existed. So when the conservatorship was enacted, it was part of my coverage. And as pretty immediately, I had this gut feeling that this wasn't right. And I was a little outspoken about it in the first year, but really very outspoken and outraged 1 year later. Because 1 year later, in January 2009, is when they made the conservatorship from temporary to permanent. And I had a big problem with that. Obviously, I still do. And that's in January 2009 is when I started writing Free Britney and signing off a lot of my posts with that and covering every single intricate detail of the conservatorship, the limited access to cell phones that she had, her dad receiving a raise very quickly to $16,000 a month at that point, reportedly. So it was pretty quick that I was against this whole situation. However, it's worth mentioning that for more than a decade, 12 years really, I was very unsure of how to proceed. Was I creating more problems in her life by covering the conservatorship in this capacity? Maybe this is helping her. I don't know her. I don't know her, her history. And what am I supposed to do? I just kept seeing all of these red flags.
Jordan, is she aware? She is aware of the Free Britney campaign. Have you spoken to her at all?
No, I have not spoken to her. And if she's aware of the Free Britney campaign, I'm sure she is. I don't believe she's ever said the term at this point. And honestly, it's neither here nor there. It's really the call to action is to shine a light on this injustice that's taking place. And it's my opinion that there's been enough pressure because of Free Britney to put pressure on the probate court system in California to hopefully make some change and allow her to be able to make decisions legally for herself.
And Jordan, so when we heard her testimony in court, I mean, we all knew things had gotten bad for her, but I think we were all surprised at the level of restriction she was living with day to day. What was it like for fans of Britney's and particularly campaigners like yourself to hear her testimony?
It was surprising because it's the first time we've actually, in her own voice, say what she had said and even say the word conservatorship. We had never even heard her say that before. in the times in the past that she's actually tried in interviews, for example, they would cut the interview so it would never see the light of day. So it was pretty shocking, and my jaw was like, as I listened to her live say what she said, and the details of it, of her not being allowed to have children, and just the abusive situation she's in, her father loving the control. It was surprising to hear it, because just to hear it in her own words, but at the same time, unfortunately, it wasn't so surprising. These are the things that we had been, privy to for years. It just, there wasn't this confirmation from her up until then.
And obviously,
So
she spoke about
on the one hand, it was like,
yeah, no, Jordan, she spoke obviously about her father enjoying having control over his daughter, and so much, and you got so much traction and momentum going for your Free Britney campaign that he actually, Jamie Spears, sent you a cease and desist letter, didn't he? Were you intimidated by him at any stage?
Yes, so that is true, and it's worth mentioning that actually happened in 2010, I believe. So this is like ancient history, really, but it's an important piece of all of this puzzle, in my opinion, because it just illustrates his thirst for power, and trying to silence anyone who was outspoken about this from the very start. And yes, that was very intimidating to go up against someone who has the resources to tap into millions of dollars of Britney's money, by the way, to be able to have access to the best lawyers and attorneys money can buy. And I'm this 20-year-old college student, with a Britney Spears fan site, just trying to advocate for her and try to give her some type of voice.
In fairness to you, I mean, the campaign is now worldwide, and so many people know it now, to the extent that you've Madonna, Miley Cyrus, Justin Timberlake, all coming out in support of you and the campaign and this Free Britney. So that must give you great hope.
It gives me great hope, but I do want to mention as well that I know this is a little cheesy, but I firmly believe this is a team effort, that this isn't like solely because of me. I just happened to be someone who had a platform to speak about Britney Spears, and also use that platform, in my opinion, for good, shine a light on this from the very start. But I do think it took a lot of moving parts for it to get to, if it was just me still speaking, this wouldn't be happening. It required a lot of people to join together. And so
her fans
the Free Britney
worldwide,
movement is very special in that way.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very special in that capacity, that it's united literally millions of people, and I'm very grateful to have participated in some way. But with that said, I do look forward to the day that we don't need Free Britney anymore.
And Jordan, what's the next step for Britney then? Is it that tomorrow she's hopefully going to get the chance to choose her own attorney? And then what can you see happening? Is that really a significant step, really, at the end of the day? Do you see an end to the conservatorship, say, in the next year or so for Britney?
Yes, it's a huge step if the judge decides to approve this motion. So basically, in a nutshell, Britney's asking to hire her own attorney. This attorney is going to appear in court on Wednesday, July 14th, to say Britney Spears wants to hire me. And it's up to the judge at this point, Judge Brenda Penny, to either sign off on it or not. And if she does not sign off on it, I would imagine it's because she's going to claim Britney's not of sound mind legally to make this decision, which we all know is complete BS, obviously. I think that could happen. I've seen so much go down over these last 13 years that I wouldn't be surprised. But there's just so much public pressure, and everyone's looking at this situation, that it honestly would kind of blow my mind if the judge didn't allow her to choose her own attorney. I mean, you can kill somebody, as Ronan Farrow pointed out in The New Yorker. You can kill somebody and still have access
to your own attorney. Yeah, Jordan, it's fascinating, and we'll be watching with interest tomorrow. And thank you very much for joining us this morning from Las Vegas.
Thank you so much. And quickly, I do want to say that yes, I'm an optimistic person. I think a lot of us are. I do see an end to this in the next year. I don't know, but the house of cards is falling, and I look forward to Britney having her autonomy.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Jordan.